What's up, guys? Coach Vassar, thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, appreciate you tuning in, listening to me talk about these workouts, especially if you're new. If you find value in them, let me know. If you have any feedback, give me those heads up. We're going to break down Friday, February 14th. First of all, happy Valentine's Day. This is Heart Work. It is a specialty workout. So we have seen this named workout in the past, but templates will be different than in what we've done in before. We're going to see power across the board on the treads, rower, weight floor. We'll talk about the 2G, talk about the 3G, and then get you on out of here. All right. Key concepts for today on the treads. It's 2 blocks. Block 1, it's all about your push. Block 2, it's all about a 1 minute all out that gets more intense through the 1 minute. Rower, you only row today if you choose to. But if you do, it's an all out row for 1 minute that increases in intensity, just like the treads. On the floor, in block 1, you get your heart working with minimal rest. And in block 2, we break down a burpee. Burpees don't like you either, so just get over them. Anyways, talk about the treadmill stuff. So we're going to see 3 blocks on the treads. Blocks 1 and 2 is all about the push. And then block 3, it's all about the all out. As we look at block 1 and block 2, they're both 6 minutes and 45 seconds. They are actually inverses of one another. We're going to see a total of 3 rounds of a push-base combo, and then it finishes up with a 45-second all-out at the very end. Now, the base will increase as the push decreases in block 1, and in block 2, it's the opposite. So the push will get longer as the base gets shorter. Either way, it's all about the push. So the goal is to increase push in block 1, maintain or decrease as it gets longer in block 2. And then in block 3, we're going to see a total of 4 1-minute all-outs with a 1-minute walk recovery in between. Now, as we get this set up here, with your first push being your longest one of 1 minute, and the goal of increasing the intensity as the duration drops. Start with nice, simple, middle-of-the-road things up to a more aggressive effort, but make sure they have room to grow. So power walkers 6+, joggers and runners, I'd put them 1 to maybe 1.5. On the bikes and striders, knowing that there's going to be 3 pushes, they could try to start at 3, then do 4, and then do 5 gears for each push. Base is going to increase, so at the very least, can they maintain their base? If they need to drop, that's totally fine, because once again, the priority and the focus is on the push in blocks 1 and 2. Okay? Now, it finishes with a 45-second all-out at the very end. After that, block 2, we flip the script. Start with that most aggressive push. Can they maintain that as their recovery decreases and then their work gets longer? Knowing that we want to maintain or adjust the push, you could also adjust the base. So nice and simple, nothing too crazy for these first 2 blocks, but the unique one is the 3rd block. So we have that 1 minute all out, 1 minute walk recovery. They have a total of 4 all outs, but we're going to establish an all out intensity and then increase every 20 seconds. So that's 2 bump ups. Add in 0.1 or more every 20 seconds. Okay. So when it comes to timing for this one, obviously get them the standards of the 10%, 2 over your base, 6 gears over, yada, 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 3, 2, 1, take off in 20 seconds. Treads, take it up, 3, 2, 1, add it. Simple. Okay. 40 seconds in, they add it again. And then can they hold it for the last 20 before they hit that walk recovery? And they're going to do it again and again and again. Now, knowing that the all-outs and recoveries are the same, they could probably just end up repeating what they do for all 4. If they feel like they're up for a challenge, see if they could continue where they left off and keep going up. Now, for the joggers and runners, of course, they're going to add speed. Power walkers, intention is to increase the intensity by either adding incline or maintaining the incline and increase their speed. For the bikes and striders, we want them to try to bump up their RPMs rather than adding gear, okay? We want to keep the increases small as the initial intensity is already very uncomfortable to begin with. one thing to be aware of for the members is their heart rate is going to be high and it's going to get higher. So they should really feel like they need that walk recovery on the other side. There's also an opportunity for them to notice what they are truly capable of doing for just 20 seconds, okay? Now, when we look at the rowers and weight floor, block 1 is specifically on the weight floor. It is essentially like a one long cluster set. So we're gonna have a total of 6 different exercises, but you only rest about 10 seconds between each one. So it is 8 reps per movement. Unless it's a single side thing, then it's 4 reps per side. We also want them to be explosive on the 2nd, 4th, and 6th movement. We're gonna see dumbbell chest fly, and then rear foot elevated split squat jump. So the front foot is what's gonna jump off the floor. Seated shoulder press, lateral step up with power. So it's like that knee drive and hop up. Dumbbell low row, and a single arm hip hinge swing, also very explosive. Now, if they are not comfortable doing the hip hinge swings, you could do like a single arm tempo deadlift. So 2 counts down, 1 count up to get that explosiveness. Same thing, tempo could be used for that split squat jump if they're not comfortable jumping off the bench, and for the lateral step up. But the main thing is that speed change on the concentric phase or the upward phase. Now, you're doing 10 seconds of rest between each movement, so that's gonna keep their heart rate elevated, especially after those power movements. When they finish the swing, they will then take as much rest as they need before they repeat. Now, they have 15 minutes here, knowing that it is 6 movements with minimal rest in between. They're probably gonna hit about 4 to 5 minutes per round, if not more. So 3 sets would be a very adequate place for people to get to in block 1. Now, block 2, they are going to build up to a burpee, and then they get the choice of either actually doing the burpee or doing an all-out row. Now, this is timed up with the treads. So when the treadmills are doing their all-out, they are gonna be doing their first construction of the burpee. When they take it to that 1-minute walk recovery, they could either rest for a minute, so that way they could prepare to do a minute of burpees, or it's a minute to get to the rower, and then they do a 1-minute all-out row when the treads do the second all-out. During the third all-out, that is when you repeat the build for the burpee, and then on the 4th all-out for the treads, that is when they are either doing the burpees or the 1-minute all-out row. Now, the construct is gonna be time-based. You're gonna have 20 seconds of push-ups, 20 seconds of plank pops, 20 seconds of squat jumps. Now, the good thing about this is because they're over at the weight floor, they also have the benches. So for the push-ups, they could do, push-ups from the bench. Plank pops, same thing. They could use the bench, they could step, and then for the squat jump, they could do tap squats, or they could do like a tempo squat. And then if they choose to do burpees, you have the bench there, let them use the bench as an option. Other than that, like, this is nonstop movement. Their heart rate is going to be elevated. And once again, it's all about highlighting what the OTB gives them in terms of education of their heart rate response. So for the members who have their heart rate, like, give them those shout outs for, seeing them hit that orange during like the pushes, finding green during their bases, those all outs, high orange during the walk recoveries. Are they getting back down to the green or the blue? When it comes to the weight floor, let them know and see like, hey, you're doing tough work. Look at what your heart rate is doing. And now this, of course, is my own opinion, but maybe you could talk to your studio manager about it. But for this day, any member who doesn't have a heart rate monitor, it might be an opportunity to let them borrow a loaner for no charge, just so they could also get that experience of the heart rate based training, which is what we're after anyway. So that's something to talk to your head coach and studio manager about prior. Maybe do that on Thursday if you guys already haven't discussed that. There you go. That's the 2G. Now, when we look at the 3G, it's going to be set up very similar. 2 blocks for all stations. On the treads, you're going to have a 7-minute, 45-second block. We're going to see an increased push as the duration decreases, paired up with a increase in base as well. So 75-second push, 30-second base. We'll take away 15 seconds from the push and give that to the base. So either way, it's, each interval is a minute 45. So a minute 15 and 30, a minute and 45, and then 45 and 1 minute, 30, a minute 15, and then they finish with a 45-second all out. So 4 rounds there, increasing the push every time. Could they add 0.1? Could they add 1% or 0.5%? So on and so forth. Now the second block is very similar to the 2G, except for instead of 1 minute, it is 45 seconds. So they're gonna make an increase every 15. So at the 15-second mark, the 30-second mark, ride it out until the end, and then hit a 45-second walk recovery. So other than that, like the intention applies the same as in the 2G. Now for the rowers, block 1, we want them to stay within 50 to 75 meters of the previous row distance. They are doing a 1 minute all out row, and then they have a split squat hold, tricep extension, 6 per side. So split the stance, drop the knee down as close to the floor, arms extended, med ball comes back, touch between the shoulder blades, extend up. They'll do 6 with one leg in front, 6 with the other. Obviously, this is gonna burn out the legs. It's gonna challenge the core, challenge the arms as well. So they will be fatigued when they get into the row. Now the row is going to decrease by 15 seconds every round. So round 1 is a minute, round 2 is 45, then 30, and then a 15-second all-out row. Obviously for that last round, there is no stored program, so just make sure they tap new interval and then they'll take off. And this is also why we want them to try to stay within 50 to 75 meters, because they are losing 15 seconds of rowing time every time. If they get through all 4 rounds, they'll row for distance until the finisher, or until block 2. Block 2, this is just like the treads, so 45-second all out, increase the intensity every 15. So we want to see maybe an increase to their stroke rate or their leg drive to get the watts higher, to be more powerful and more explosive. They'll get a 45-second rack and rest before they repeat, okay? As far as metrics on the screen, if they use a stored program, hopefully their distance they collect is very similar for all 4 attempts. Weight floor, block 1, it's just 4 instead of 6 movements. So we want them to be explosive on the 2nd and 4th one. Chest fly, split squat jump, low row, hip hinge swing. Take 10 seconds rest between the first 3 movements. After the 4th one, take a longer break, and then rinse and repeat. With this block being just under 8 minutes, they should get at least 2 rounds, possibly 2.5, maybe 3. And then on the second block, it is the burpee construction, and unfortunately for the 3G, they don't get the choice. They have to do burpees. It's good for them. It builds character. All right. Same thing, 15 seconds for each one, 45 seconds to rest. On the second all out, that's when they do the burpees. 3rd all out, they do the construction. 4th all out, they do more burpees. There you go. Coach it down, y'all. You got this.